G'day everyone, I'm Nick Bowditch. Today on the Yeah Nah Yeah show, I want to talk about world haters. I want to talk about people who, and I'm one of these people sometimes too, who take the not in my backyard stuff to a really sad and hateful extreme, and they become world haters, you know? Hate everything outside of their world. There's a lot of it going on at the moment in mass media, in presidential elections, in prime ministerial elections in my country right now. It starts with people being scared. It starts with fear. Everything fucking starts with fear, and it goes from that to being then something. Well, I have to protect my family. I have to protect my community. I have to protect my borders. From who or what, no one seems clear. And it starts to manifest then through a whole lot of different other things, people speaking about immigration, people speaking about border transitions of people speaking about quotas for different people, and everything just becomes the worldview, and the worldview just becomes so distorted and kind of messy that it becomes really a bit sad, and people become sort of sad and insular and hateful, And I do this in a way too that I think when I think about charitable organisations, and I've worked on the board and looked after and helped out with a couple of different Australian charities, and my headspace says if you want to help out a charity, you should help out a charity based in Australia. You should help out a charity that's helping Australians. That's my unconscious bias that makes me a bit of a world hater too. I think there's a lot of Indigenous charities, a lot of homelessness charities, a lot of really great Australian charities doing really great work. The Carers Foundation of Australia that I'm working with now too fits in that bill nicely as well. And I think, if you're going to give 20 or 50 bucks to a charity, then give it to an Australian charity. Now that makes me a world hater because that kind of discounts all the other great charities all around the world who are doing great stuff with people who aren't Australians. So I feel like, I'm certainly not immune to this unconscious bias. I'm certainly not immune to it. And I'm not putting myself above it by any means, right? Because I'm right there. But there's a few things that happen when you become a world hater. Right? Or when I do. The first thing is the world seems worse. Everything outside of your consciousness, outside of your experience, outside of your town, your community, your country, your little home, whatever it might be, your street, seems dangerous and scary and evil and bad. And it just becomes more and more so for me, And I don't want to think about the world that way. That's not the way the world is in my experience. So that's the first thing, is that the world seems worse. The second thing is my focus becomes everything outside of my world anyway. And my focus is taken off all the really good, beautiful, loving things in my world if I'm just worried about how bad the world is and how much I want to protect my kids and myself from it. My focus is away anyway. So that's the second thing that happens. And the third thing that happens is my world seems worse. Eventually, if all you're doing is concentrating on the negative stuff in the world or the negative things that you perceived about people in the world, then eventually the world gets very, very small. And the bad stuff you start to see in your street, in your community, in your town, in your state, in your country, that you never thought was there in the first place. The stuff that you hate about the world outside starts to come into your world inside. That's not great, obviously. But the biggest thing, I think, the biggest danger in being a world hater is that eventually you might need the world. Now that can be, I might need the world just to travel, just to show my kids a different experience, just to have a cultural difference in their life, to show them different religious stuff, different archaeological stuff, different architecture, different, cultural things that they're not exposed to now. I need the world for that. I need the world to grow my business globally. potentially. You know, I need the world for my media and my entertainment and stuff like that. And if all you do is hate the world, it's just going to make your life experience, your experience here on earth, really shit. And you know, eventually that's going to pervade right through to every relationship you have, every conversation you have with another human. If you're a world hater, nobody eventually is going to want to be around you, around me. You know, I have to be on guard against this stuff all the time. That, you know, I don't become so miserable and jaded and mean that becomes who I am. You know, I feel like that's a really sad potential thing in my life that I need to fight off and hold off. And I think, you know, there's people in the world who could benefit from that sort of thinking as well. I don't want to be a world hater. You know, I want to be a world lover. I want to love everything that we have in the world, even by embracing the vulnerabilities and embracing the bad shit. It's going to eventually make my own experience in life, you know, a lot better. You know, I feel like that's something that's burning in my brain today. It's really easy to be a world hater. It's really easy, but it's much harder to accept difference and accept things that are outside of your culture and your language and your religion or whatever, and out of your control. Just accept that the world isn't all the same. Thank God. The world isn't all the same and there's difference, and celebrate difference, but also accept it. That's what I have to do today and every day. Okay. I hope this resonates with you as well, potentially, and we reduce the number of world haters. That would be my goal. All right. Have a great Thursday wherever you are in the world, and love your day and love those around you. Find your kindness and spend some of it on yourself today. All right, see ya.